Greetings, heroes. Today I would like to share with you 3 tales about those most mysterious creatures of legend, cats. A wise man once said that every small cat is a masterpiece. That man's name was Leonardo da Vinci. Another wise man once pointed out, in ancient times, cats were worshipped as gods. They have not forgotten this. That man's name was Terry Pratchett. This first tale is from Scotland, and it is called The King of Cats. There were once 2 brothers called Duncan and Fraser, and they lived together in an old house with a housekeeper and her cat. Now one day, Fraser decided to go for a little walk. "Just off to stretch my legs, brother. I'll be back shortly." Now, he wasn't back shortly. He wasn't back in a few hours after that. And Duncan began to get worried. And just as he was about to go out in search, Fraser appeared at the doorway. He looked stunned. He stared straight ahead. He couldn't speak. Duncan took his brother and ushered him to the fireplace and sat him down and fed him supper and waited until he was ready to speak. And the old cat came and curled up at their feet by the fireplace and went to sleep. "Oh, brother, I have had a strange adventure," said Fraser. "On my way home, there was a strange fog descended and I got lost. I didn't know where I was going. And then I saw in the distance a light, so I followed this light, and it was coming from within a great oak tree." "Go on, brother." And the cat opened an eye. "Well, I climbed the branches of this tree to find out what was inside, and I looked down inside the hollowed out tree, and I could see all the way down, and there was a candlelit funeral taking place. But... Go on, brother." And the cat opened its other eye. "Well, you won't believe it, but this funeral, the candles and the coffin were carried by cats. And on the coffin there was a golden crown." And at this, Duncan rubbed his chin, and the cat leapt up. "Old Peter is dead! I am the king of the cats!" And he leapt up the chimney. And they never did see that cat ever again. This next tale is from ancient Greece. It is one of the fables of Aesop, and it is called The Belling of the Cat. A nest of mice were constantly being bothered and chased and eaten by a cat. Now one day they decided they'd had enough, so they called a council meeting. And at this council meeting, a clever young mouse stepped forward and said, "If we just had some sort of early warning system, maybe we wouldn't get caught. How about we get hold of a piece of string and a bell, and we tie a bell round the neck of the cat?" And all the other mice applauded and cheered. They loved this idea. But then an old mouse stepped forward and he said, "Oh, an admirable idea. Yes, a great plan. But do tell me, who will be putting this bell around the neck of the cat?" And the young mouse, whose plan it was, went very quiet. So did all the other mice. And funnily enough, that was the last they ever heard of that plan. My final cat tale is from Japan, and it is called The Boy Who Drew Cats. There was once a boy who drew, you guessed it, cats. He drew cats all the time, and on everything. "What are you doing, drawing cats on my tablecloth?" said his mother, "and on my curtains, and you never take any interest in sports or play with the other boys. I don't know what to do with you." So she sent him to school. His teacher didn't know what to do with him either. "Boy, you're drawing on the desk, and you're not doing your mathematics, and what are we going to make of you? I suppose we could try you in the priesthood." So they did. They sent him to become a priest. The other priests found him quite hard work too. "You've used every scrap of vellum we have, and you're not helping with all the chores or the gardening or anything." And they decided to send him to the highest of high priests. Maybe he would know what to do with him. He was a very wise man after all. And this priest lived on top of a mountain. They sent him packing and on his travels. But when he arrived at the old priest's home, the old priest had gone out for a walk and he'd left the door open. He thought, well, I'll just get myself at home and wait for a little while. And he looked around and he saw white walls and white floor and some lovely white screens, and he couldn't help himself. He started drawing all over everything. He drew on the floor and the wall and on the screens, and on one screen he drew the most beautiful cat he had ever drawn. He stood back and he admired his work. Oh, but he felt tired. He was exhausted. And so he curled up behind one of the screens and went to sleep. A little while later, he woke to hear some scrabbling and screeching. And he peered round from the screen, and there in the middle of the floor, lying dead, was a giant rat. It was huge. They say it was the size of a dog. And it was stone cold dead, as if killed by some creature. And the boy looked around the room. He saw that beautiful cat that he had drawn facing out of the screen had now turned to face inwards. Now when the old priest arrived, the wise old priest, he looked around and he heard the boy's tale, and he thought long and hard. He said, "I know what you must do. You must keep drawing cats." Did. And he became a very celebrated artist, very revered for drawing just one thing. You guessed it, cats. I hope you enjoyed these tales. A little note on the Aesop's fable, The Belling of the Cat. We're not actually sure if this was one of the original Aesop's fables, but then there have been so many added over the years it's very hard to say which were really his fables and which weren't. I don't think it matters too much. I quite like it. And also, I didn't add a moral to the fable. Usually, fables have morals, don't they? Well, actually, the morals were added by the Victorians. I don't know if they really need them. Maybe old Aesop would have liked you to make up your own mind about what that fable meant. Well, something to ponder. Until next time, heroes, stay curious, like a cat. And remember, though not everything a fairy tells you is true, you would always be wise to listen. Greetings once again. Now I'm going to sing a song called The Old Grey Cat is Sleeping. The old grey cat is sleeping, sleeping, sleeping. The old grey cat is sleeping in the house. The old grey cat is sleeping, sleeping, sleeping. The old grey cat is sleeping in the house. The little mouse is creeping, creeping, creeping. Little mouse is creeping in the house. The little mouse is creeping, creeping, creeping. Little mouse is creeping in the house. The old grey cat is stalking, stalking, stalking. The old grey cat is stalking in the house. The old grey cat is stalking, stalking, stalking. The old grey cat is stalking in the house. is scampering, scampering, scampering. Little mouse is scampering in the house. The little mouse is scampering, scampering, scampering. The little mouse is scampering in the house. Meow.